Hi guys, here with Raluca. We have an incredible conversation today based on the topic of
menstruation.
like myself and a lot of people that are listening, I'm sure that we know what it means for a female to be on her period. But what actually is the meaning of the menstrual cycle?
Right. So the menstrual cycle is the time between a woman's first day of bleeding, aka period, to the day before her next period.
Right. And in those times, a lot of things changes, including your hormones.
Yes.
As a woman, how does that affect you mentally?
Before I answer that question, I want to say that all women are not built the same. So the way I experience menstruation, it varies for me and it varies between me and other women. So for me in particular, I experience low levels of energy, moodiness, migraines, tummy aches. These are some of the changes I see in my body.
This is a good conversation for me because I'm sure, like a lot of guys, I know what it means for a woman to be on her period in terms of bleeding. How would you describe the moments going up to your period in terms of how it affects yourself mentally?
Okay, so let's break it down. So the menstrual cycle lasts about 28 days. So if we spread that, if we think of it in terms of weeks, there are about 4 weeks for a menstrual cycle.
Right.
So the third week, the fourth week, which is the week before a woman's period, is where she would experience low levels of energy because her estrogen levels are decreasing. Yeah. As she starts her period, so that's the first week, after day 1, her estrogen levels are going up and she will see an increase in her energy levels.
Yeah.
That tends to happen until the end of week 2, which is when the estrogen levels peak in preparation for ovulation. And ovulation is when a woman's ovaries release an egg, which then could be fertilized. Yeah. So that's where her energy levels peak, week 2, and then from week 3 onwards, the energy levels decrease as the estrogen levels are going down again.
And it's a decrease in energy that you actually notice, isn't it?
In my case, absolutely.
Yeah.
I do notice such a shift. Again, this differs, and it differed for me. Like in the past, I wasn't so much in tune with my body.
Yeah.
I didn't keep a menstrual journal. Now I am tracking these fluctuations in my energy levels. I also like to record the days of my period, where it starts, where it ends.
How is that helpful to you to know that information?
It's helpful because it helps me manage important activities in my life.
Right.
One of them is me training in the gym. So I've got the fitness program that I like to follow to the T. I'm a geek. I like to record my weights, my sets, my reps. I have certain goals which I want to achieve. Now I know that if I want to lift heavy, programming a heavy workout in week 3 or 4 of my menstrual cycle is not necessarily a good idea. So I tend to program really heavy workouts in week 1 or week 2 of my menstrual cycle, and then change those for lighter workouts in week 3 and 4 when I know my energy levels will be going down. Now this is not always the case. I might find myself in week 3 or 4 having a boost of energy, and then I go heavy again because I know that's the only time when I can go heavy, in week 3 or 4.
So if female is a regular user of weights, and she knows that her menstrual cycle is about to start, how would you best advise that maybe she alters her training compared to what her program might be telling her to do?
Okay, I will tell you what works for me, and the advice I would give a woman in that situation is increase her number of repetitions, up her sets, incorporate tempo, because if she has higher reps, lower weights, she could probably add some tempo work with that. So go light or go home.
How do you manage cravings? Because sometimes or maybe often, maybe not, when a woman comes into her menstrual cycle, she starts to have a lot of cravings.
Okay.
And that could be sugary stuff, chocolate.
Yes.
How would you say is probably the best thing to either manage the cravings
Yes.
or manage how you feel about yourself if you do give in to those cravings?
Mm-hmm. Let's say you give into the cravings
Yeah.
and you're eating the foods that make you feel guilty. Now, come to the gym and increase your cardio levels. And why I'm saying cardio is because you want to use as much of your body weight as you can. So obviously low weights or body weights. Cardio is great at releasing endorphins, which then helps with managing your moods during the period. I also find it easier to manage the pain that I get either as migraine or tummy pain during the period. For me in particular, I don't necessarily force myself not to. If I have a craving, I go with it. I allow myself to have it because I know I would only have it when I'm on my period. Now I know that after my period I'm gonna come back to the gym and smash my next workouts. So I do not feel guilty. I just eat whatever I feel like it. I think it's important to be compassionate with yourself and allow yourself to indulge, especially, in those 2-3 days when, you're going through those hormonal changes.
For me, if I have a craving, giving into the craving depends heavily on my energy levels.
Okay.
If I have a lot of energy and I'm in a good mood and I'm feeling great, I can not give into those cravings and I feel strong. If my energy levels are low and those cravings come, I find it so stressful to resist them that sometimes I do give into them. And I think as well that when I give into a craving, the more damage is done when I beat myself up about it afterwards. What advice could you give to anyone that maybe gives into a craving and not, beating themselves up about it?
Right, I would say, okay, you've given into that craving, get back on track.
Yeah.
Don't allow yourself to wallow and beat yourself up and say, okay, I've had a biscuit, what's the point, let me finish the whole pack.
Yeah.
No, if you caught yourself there off guard, that's fine. Put the rest of the packet away, go back on the plan, go back to, sticking to your meal plan, to your fitness program. I would say do not continue if you've noticed that you're doing something that's going to hurt you later down the line.
Yeah, and a lot of it is sometimes awareness. If you're having a craving and you are on your period, bring some awareness to know that there's hormonal changes in your body, and a moment of weakness is okay.
Yeah, it's not just about the awareness. I would also say it's about the discipline and the consistency, consistent with your goals. It's about knowing why you're doing this. It's about knowing how it's going to affect you if you continue down that spiral of negativity and beating yourself up.
How do you feel maybe coming to the gym and being consistent with that helps you structure other areas of your life?
It helps me because when I'm consistent with my goals in the gym, I feel productive, I feel good about myself, I feel confident, I feel strong, I feel empowered. Then I take all this, positive mindset out there, and I feel like I'm able to smash my goals and, push through things that I'm dealing with outside the gym. Whereas if I'm inconsistent at the gym, I'm not able to prime myself for success outside the gym.
Guys, that was a fantastic conversation with Raluca, and that was only part 1. Please tune in for part 2 when we discuss finding your why. Thank you for listening.